Hi, everybody. Welcome to our next video in our training series. My name is Victoria Shimkus. I'm the Community Development Manager at Here for Kids International. And I'm here today with Jorge Velasco, who is our Donations Coordinator, and Diego Rios, who is our Executive Director. And we will be talking with you today about donations. So Jorge, if you don't mind introducing yourself and then passing it on to Diego.
Thanks, Vicky. Jorge Velasco, donations coordinator with Here for Kids International. A little bit about me. I'm from East Oakland, California. I went to St. Mary's College, which is where I came across Here for Kids International. I believe it was my sophomore year of college. Maybe, yes. And then my first trip was my junior year in 2013. So I've been participating since 2013 up until now. I can't remember exactly. I think it was 4 or 5 years ago since that I've joined staff, and just really grateful for the opportunity. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Diego Rios. I am the executive director here at Here for Kids. I've been traveling with HFK since 2015, and I'm grateful to be here. I've supported Jorge in his role by gathering donations and also gathered donations personally through many of the trips that I've been on. And I'm excited to talk about all things donations, physical donations for our international service trips.
Thank you, guys. And thanks for clarifying, Diego. So I know we talk a lot about donations, fundraising, different things like that. Today, we're talking about physical donations. So these are things that we actually pack, clothes, hygiene items, stuff like that. We'll talk more about later in the video. But they're things that we physically take from wherever we're at in the US over to our service sites to help with their ministry there. So just kind of touched on it, but if you two don't mind, can you elaborate a little bit more on why we take donations when we serve abroad?
Yeah, so taking donations abroad on our trips is a really important aspect of kind of what our entire goal and mission is. The physical donations that we ask participants to collect and take really support the partner's mission. So a lot of the times, depending on the site, there'll be different needs. But for example, one of a big physical donation that is requested often is sports equipment, primarily soccer cleats, because soccer is a sport that they play a lot, and the kids there use cleats like tennis shoes all the time, day and night. So it's something that they go through. It's an item that they go through a lot. So the main goal of the physical donations is to support our partners, in the communities they serve, along with other items.
Yeah, in addition to that, looking at it from another perspective, it's also a beautiful thing for participants to gather donations. So when you're serving with us on one of our international service trips, we're asking you all to gather donations to provide our partners. Those donations you can gather from your family, friends, a local soccer team, a school, buy them. And a story I like to tell is one year I donated my high school soccer cleats that no longer fit me. And a couple years I went back to that same location, and I was playing soccer with the community, and one of the people had my high school soccer cleats, and they were wearing them and playing with them. And it filled me with joy because it really reassured me that the donations I gave were giving a second life, and were really being used by someone that maybe was their first pair of cleats, or maybe was their only pair of cleats where those cleats no longer fit me. So it really is an opportunity for participants to have an extra layer of impact with our partners.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you. I've had some similar experiences. I know. I love seeing some of my old high school sports shirts that I never wore and was never going to wear. I love seeing them on kids as we're playing sports. Shout out to JDCHS. We would love for you to watch this quick video from our partners and hear a little bit more from them about how we support in their mission.
Hi, I'm Tony Liddell from Kids Alive International. I just wanted to say how thankful we are for our partnership with HFK, specifically for your generous donations that support the ministry that we do here in Peru. whether it's soccer gear for kids to pursue something they love, or if it's mower parts that we can't get in Peru. And they help us maintain our properties, or even like weighted blankets that our staff use for the therapy of the kids in our programs. Each donation is so meaningful and valuable to what we do, and we are so grateful to HFK for providing every one of these things. Thank you for your generosity.
Thanks for sharing. And do you know any programs or any ways that our partners directly benefit from these donations, or the kids that we're serving? I mean, we talked about seeing some of these clothes, on them as we're serving, but do you know how like these are distributed or anything like that?
Yeah, I can say that from experience. Some of our partners have used the donations that we provide as a way to encourage and motivate the kids that they have in their care homes to behave and to really work towards these donations. Other examples are also us supporting their soccer teams. A lot of the partners that we work with have a big emphasis and focus on soccer, and that's something that we also have. So they've developed soccer teams. To keep those soccer teams sustainable, they need equipment, and the equipment that we take is an opportunity for them to take that, to accept that, and then use the resources and different donations that they receive towards maybe more operations of the teams or different things to keep the team more sustainable or the care home being more sustainable. It also supports schools and with school equipment.
So from experience, I can tell you that one time when I was in the Dominican Republic, we were at a site and the staff there was sharing with us how the donations play a big role for the care home care. What they did is with the physical donations that we give them, and it was all kinds of donations. It was clothing, equipment, school supplies. And what they did is that they would set up like what they would call like a little store. And so all the kids there they had chores that they would do, and the chores, they would get rewarded in fake paper money. And what they were, taught was that if they work and they save their money, there's certain things that they can buy with it, right? If there was a jersey that they saw that they really wanted, that they can work towards. So what's really nice about the donations that our partners utilize was that they use it as a tool as well, like to have a lot of teaching moments. So that was a great experience, something, to learn from as well.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing that. And then also, I mean, we've been touching on the different types of donations that we take throughout the video. We've mentioned sports equipment, we've mentioned clothing. What other types of donations do we typically take? Or where can we learn more about this?
I can share a little bit briefly. So we mentioned sports equipment. We mentioned everyday clothing. Again, depending on the site or the location that we're traveling to, we can oftentimes request if there are any specific needs. There's been instances where medical supplies, dental supplies or dental hygiene, also just other items that were specifically needed at that moment that we coordinate with the partners abroad. So it can vary from site to site.
And to know specifically what things our partners are requesting, we'll make that clear for each participant and each team. The team captains will share with the team members, because the team captains will be able to meet with our partner representatives a couple of times before traveling. So for example, specific requests, like Jorge said, medical supplies, but other times there have been like weighted blankets, and those aren't maybe things that you just have laying around, so you have to go out and find them and buy them. So those are requests that we'll have on our service trip resources on our website for you all to be able to see, and your team captains will be able to communicate that to the team members prior to traveling.
Thank you. And I also do want to include supplies for the week's activities in there as well. So we're talking about different things that we're collecting from other people. And this can be something that you collect from your friends and family as well. So during the week that you will be serving, there will usually be some kind of construction project going on, or your team might have more special instructions on what exactly you'll be doing with the kids, whether that be sports, whether that be art. And this will all be communicated with you through your team captains. But supplies for your week's activities are also really important, and a great thing to ask your friends and family for support with. And that can look like I've done this a lot, and it's looked a lot like, little jump ropes or sidewalk chalk or card games, things that you can do, maybe as filler activities between bigger activities. Or I know Diego's brought spike ball kits. We've tried to teach the kids spike ball so that they have, a new sport that they can play and practice longer term at their site. So these would be great things also to think about and consider as you're collecting donations and as you're packing those bags. You want to make sure that you save some room for these types of activities. And was there anything that we missed? Anything you guys can think of?
The only thing that I'll add, Vicky, thanks for sharing that with your experience as well, is that, ideas are always encouraged. New games, anytime, like, we want to hear from you as well. If there's certain activities that you think that you've done with your church or during Sunday school, anytime, icebreakers, games that, just, we're always open to ideas. And so, a lot of times, whatever you want to bring for those activities is something that you can bring with you.
That's a good point, Jorge. For example, in our last trip to Lima, one of our members took like a training. So they printed out papers beforehand and they had those ready for the older kids, and they led that training for a couple days. So anything that, any new ideas, like you said, are always welcome.
Awesome. Thank you. And then while we're talking about these donations and what we typically take, are there any kind of blacklist items, things that we would never take, things that we should avoid when collecting clothes or shoes or things like that you can mention?
Yeah, it's really, really important to mention that, we want to take donations that have been lightly or gently worn or new. Something that is, has a lot of rips and tears in it, or, stained. That's something that we typically will, if it is donated, then we will typically just take it out, and we wouldn't take it to our to our partners abroad. Shoes that may be, very slick on the bottom or very worn, it's also something that we typically try to avoid, because we do want to be able to give, donations that do still have a little bit of life in them. And then depending on the sites, but most sites are typically the same, is that we want to just be conscious of their rules and their regulations or their guidelines. So taking, really short dresses, really short skirts, anything with like a high slit. We want to just be a little bit more on the conservative side, because we are working in fellowship with them and our partners, and we always want to keep them at the top of mind of what the lesson they're trying to share and learn and teach with the kids and everyone that they work with abroad as well. Yeah,
that's great. Thanks for sharing that. Did you have anything to add, Diego, or did he cover that? Okay, awesome. And then, we're talking about donations. Is everyone required to take donations? How much are we supposed to be collecting? Can you touch on that a little bit as well, please?
I can cover that first, and then Jorge, let me know if I miss anything. We're asking each of our trip participants to take max 2 donation duffel bags. So when you travel, you take your backpack and your carry-on. Those are your personal items that you are going to be using for the week, your clothes and your shoes. In addition to that, in your trip fee, you're going to be covering any extra checked bags. Those checked bags, we're asking those to be duffel bags filled with donations. We ask you each to be able to gather those donations by asking your family, your friends, looking through your closet, maybe donating things like me, that those high school soccer cleats that I had laying around that no longer fit, but were in good condition, donating things like that. We in our headquarters in the Bay Area have donation bags ready to go. So if you're in the Bay Area and you need an extra bag, maybe you're not able to gather all of those donations, so 2 extra 50-pound duffel bags, then we're able to provide one of those for you. But we do want you to at least gather one bag of max 50 pounds of donations that you can gather from family, friends, partners, local school, your high school, your ex-soccer team, your sports team, whatever it is you can find donations from. We ask for it to be a duffel bag that then you can roll up and then put in your carry-on on your return, so that we don't have to pay for an empty check bag on our way back. So we don't encourage people to take big hard shell bags, check bags, unless you want to take that and donate it. They always need bags like that. Our partners always need those types of bags. So if you'd like to do that and donate it, that's welcome. What did I miss, Jorge or Vicky?
I think you covered it all, Diego. That was a really good summary. Yeah, the main thing being that if you do want to take like a hard-sided bag of luggage, it's encouraged to, it be donated, or just taking, like Diego said, bags that you wouldn't mind leaving behind to be donated, because they will utilize them out on site as well. So the goal is 50 pounds, but if you can't, it's definitely not, don't be concerned or alarmed if you don't reach that 50 pounds. Anything that you can take is well received.
Awesome. Thank you. And you were talking about duffel bags, roll up duffel bags. Where could I find these? Where can I buy these? And I know saying duffel bags is a little broad. Maybe we'll have team captains kind of share those dimensions with you, just so you have a better idea. Or we'll link maybe a link to Amazon where we can find one of these bags. But have you guys been able to find these bags like in stores nearby, or what's your experience been like?
Yeah, you can easily find them on Amazon or like a Walmart or a sports store. But unless you're trying to use this bag over and over again, we encourage you to find a used bag that you have laying around, or ask someone for a duffel bag that they might have, because you're just going to roll it up, bring it back, and return it to them. Or like I said, if it's a bag that you have that you'd like to donate, then that can work as well.
Yeah, I'll just add that you can also find it sometimes at like where I have found bags is like camping supply stores, or like military surplus as well. Typically you'll find like top loading bags at military surplus stores, but they also have the zippers that go along the side of the bag, which are easier to load versus the top loading. So it would be ideal for it be like a large canvas duffel bag with a zipper along the side rather than top loading.
And people are able to see an example. People are able to see an example of the donation bags that we take on our website with the many pictures that we have. But specifically, if you go to the donate button and you scroll down to physical donations, there's a lot of examples there. And it's important to emphasize what Jorge said. You don't have to fill it up to the brim, the 50 pounds. If you are able to gather 40 pounds, 30 pounds, then we'll take that. And if you're in the Bay Area, like I said, we can maybe fill the remaining 20 pounds with donations that we might have at our headquarters.
Awesome. Thank you. And just a quick follow-up question on that. So let's say filled my bags, I'm ready to go. I have my 2 duffels. We're going to the airport. How does that work? Am I paying for these bags? Are you paying for these bags? Is this going to be taken care of before I get there?
Like we mentioned, the fee will be taken care of before you get there. It depends on the airline. Some airlines include it beforehand, some we have to purchase after, but you don't have to worry about any of that. If the airline is being difficult and is asking us to and is not allowing us to pay for it beforehand, then we will work with you individually for you to be able to maybe purchase it, and then we can reimburse you. But ideally, and most of the time, it'll be taken care of before you get to the airport. As long as you tell us how many bags you're taking, then you can just check those bags, and they'll go all the way through. And something to mention on that is the bags will be covered for going to our partners. On the return, we're asking everyone, like we said, when you empty out the whole bag of donations, to roll up that duffel or donate it. When you roll up that duffel, you can put it in your carry-on. So we also encourage people to pack light on your carry-on so that you can fill your duffel and maybe any other souvenirs you want to bring back, or the clothes that you pack in your carry-on to have during the week. Maybe those can also be clothes that at the end of the week you donate so that you have space in your carry-on when you come back.
Great, thank you. And I know you touched on this a little bit as well. We were talking about where to find these bags, different stores, asking for donations. Maybe it's something your friends, family donate. But as a last resort, you can reach out to us. We do have some of these empty duffels at our headquarters, and maybe we can get one of those to you to pack. So just remember, there's always a solution if there's some kind of special, case circumstances that are going on. Reach out to us. We're very flexible. We're very cool, easy people to work with. So just let us know. Anything else to add, you two, before we move on?
I would just like to say on the return, sometimes if the trip is all traveling from the same place, if the team is traveling from the same place, for example, you're a university team or a team that's all coming from the same city and the same airport, then on the return, to bring all those duffels in one, what we could do is we can get one checked bag for the return, and that checked bag, fill it with the rest of the empty bags and maybe any extra things that you need to put in there to bring it back. So there's flexibility. And we can just you can talk with your team captain, and your team captain will have more information. But this is just a general overview of our physical donations.
Thank you for adding that. Let me see here. When I'm taking this bag, how should I label it? Is there something special I need to put on my bag?
I can speak to that a little bit. So what you want to always make sure you do on your own bag that you're responsible for is make sure you put your personal information. So a name, a contact phone number, or an email, and then an address if you can. Day of trip or pre-trip, what the team captain will do is provide you with the name of the site, again, a contact number and a name. And that'll also be important to have. So what you essentially will end up having on the donation bag is two contacts, your personal contact, and then the partner or the location that you're visiting. So that way, if the bag does get mixed up or does happen to get lost, they'll be contacting either or party or both parties. So that way it gets to its responsible location.
Thank you. And I know Diego did touch on this earlier, but I do want to reiterate a little bit here. In your duffel bag, we really want to emphasize the donations that we're taking to our partners. If you have your personal items, please try and keep that to your carry-on. That way we can take as many donations as possible to help out our partners.
So one thing that I didn't mention while I was talking about the labeling is also a piece of paper that will be given to you to make sure you can print out. So because we take donations through customs, oftentimes they'll be asked if they do see, or they might ask you what they're for. You can share with them that, it's for a missionary trip with Here for Kids serving at the location you're going to be going to. In addition to being able to verbally explain to them what you're doing with the donations, the piece of paper will be given to you, or a document will be given to you that we recommend printing out 2 copies, one for yourself to carry on your person, and then one to include in the bag. That way, if someone does search a bag, they'll find that paper and see what that donations are for.
Awesome. Thank you. And as a lot of our sites are Spanish speaking sites, I believe that paper is in both English and Spanish. So it should be pretty easy for anyone at Customs to understand. Another quick question I have for the two of you is, how early should I start collecting donations, and what is the best way to ask for donations?
early as possible. As soon as you know that you're traveling, please start gathering those donations. Ideal times to ask family and friends for those donations are when you're back home with your family, when you're at a birthday party, when you're at a family gathering, when you're anytime that you are given an opportunity to share about this incredible trip that you're planning on going on and how they can support you. There are ways in which people feel called to support. Sometimes they're financially, and they want to donate towards your trip. And other times, maybe that's not possible for them at the moment, or maybe you have younger people that would like to support. Then they can support with physical donations. Like we mentioned earlier, you can reach out to your high school, to your local sports team. We as an organization also do our part in gathering donations. So Jorge has a lot of contacts with local organizations and people in the area that like to donate to us because they know where we send our donations and that our donations make an impact. We have partnered with the San Jose Earthquakes, for example, and they have provided donations for us to take, specifically soccer cleats and equipment. And social media is also a big piece of being able to recruit. And that's a way in which you can connect with people that maybe you don't know want to support you and that maybe are looking for ways to support or to give back to the community, and you're providing that opportunity.
Awesome. Thank you. Anything else to add on that, Jorge?
Yeah, no, that was a great summary, Diego. But yeah, just encouraging people to start collecting as soon as they know that they're going to be on a trip, or even start going through your own closet, through your old equipment, through your old toys, and just as many touch points as possible is always encouraged. And share a little bit about the trip and where you're going and what you might be doing. And if you have any questions, just always be sure to feel free to reach out to us. We're here for you as a resource. And so, never more than a phone call or email away.
Something else I'd love to mention, sorry, would be if you know that a local sports team or your high school team or your college team maybe is changing sponsors, so like changing from Adidas to Nike, that's a great opportunity for you to be able to reach out, because a lot of the gear that they previously had is no longer able to be used, but is usually in good condition. And we've encountered that a couple times. So if you know that that's happening in your local team or school, or even work, like an office, maybe they change logos and they can't use their previous logos, those are great shirts or apparel that you're able to use.
Yeah, thanks, guys. I do really want to reemphasize the whole social media thing. I mean, everyone is on their phones all the time. It's so easy to record a short video, upload some pictures, share about why you're traveling, what you're going to do, and maybe put a little ask out there for some physical donations. We do have some social media videos, training videos that we have posted. We'll link those here as well for you. That way you can kind of take a look, see different ways that different team members have used social media as kind of a platform to ask for donations in the past. Maybe give you some ideas as you go forward asking for donations for this trip. And as Jorge said, we are here for support. Never be scared to reach out and ask any questions you may have. You also have your team captains that have been learning these things, hearing these things from us, some of them for years, some of them are very experienced. So yeah, no question is a bad question. Let us know. We also have that document that Diego had mentioned earlier, that's on our website that has a little bit more information as well. Was there anything else you want to add before we say our goodbyes?
I would like to just say a couple of things that generally our partners have asked for. I know we mentioned this earlier, but as you're watching this video, if you're thinking of things that you can maybe gather or ask people for, this is a possible list of things that you can gather, such as sports equipment, school supplies, school backpacks, medicine, first aid supplies, dental equipment, clothes and shoes in good condition, personal hygiene items, children's books, especially in Spanish. So if you have some type of contact with the school or your parent is a teacher, that would be great. Water bottles, people are they're trying to encourage the kids to use more reusable water bottles, so to have that, and sometimes sheets and towels. So depending on what the partners need, your team captains will be able to provide those lists for you. But just so you can start thinking of these things.
Nice. Well, thank you for sticking with us, hearing all we had to say about donations. Thanks, Jorge, for joining in today, giving us your insight. Jorge's been working with Here for Kids, as he said, for a long time, helping sort these donations, helping make sure that what we are sending to our partners is quality donations. So he's a big behind the scenes help for us here at Here for Kids. So thanks for joining us. And we'll see you guys next time.
Thank you, everybody. Thanks for
Thank
serving
you.
with us.
Toodles.